Good morning, everyone. Most especially to your consultant, our dear education program supervisors. Of course, to our public schools district supervisors or acting public schools district supervisors, and to all of you, our colleagues, both elementary and secondary schools of the 1,115 public schools in the province of Bohol. Well, I would just like to emphasize that, as I mentioned last Monday with our education program supervisors, that being a consultant in your area does not prohibit them in entering other districts in the province of Bohol, considering that they are our education program supervisors, they are our subject area specialists. So therefore, uh, being a consultant is just an additional job given to them. But again, it doesn't mean that they can only visit your area, but they can visit anytime of the week or month or year to all other districts in the province of Bohol. And also, I would like to inform everyone that effective school year 2020-2021, Division of Bohol has 56 districts. It is no longer 54 but 56. Why? It's because we have one additional district in the municipality of Carmen. So that's Carmen 1, 2, and 3, and another one in the municipality of Trinidad. So it will become Trinidad 1 and Trinidad 2. So again, we are now 56 districts in the Division of Bohol. And to our education program supervisors, thank you for accepting the challenge in having this or in facilitating this cluster conference or meeting, virtual meeting with the supervisors and school heads under your consultancy areas. And also to our district supervisors, you might wonder why you were not called to join our weekly meeting last Monday, because in my mind, and it was part of my plan, that you will have a separate meeting with your consultant together with the school heads, because it is high time now that after 2 weeks of having our opening of classes, we need to know also some information or data or feedback from your end. As I told our supervisors last Monday, that the information or monitoring report that they gave us is just one of the 6 lenses that we want to know. What are the other 5 lenses? The other 5 lenses refers to the perception, observation, comments, or ideas or feedback coming from first, coming from the district supervisors, second, coming from the school heads, third, from the learners, fourth, from the teachers, and fifth, from the parents. So, plus opinion or observation from the division supervisors, so there are 6 lenses. When I say 6 lenses, meaning these are the different groups of people or individual or officials that are looking into the situations, because by using the different lenses, we can have better view and better understanding as we move forward in our delivery of basic education, because we need a clearer picture, because it can be used as our basis in having the right decision, a decision that will really address if there are any gaps or concerns that we need to address. So hopefully, in your virtual conference today, you will not only listen to the instructions or informations that will be discussed to you by the supervisors as your consultant, but at the same time, please inform, maybe by questioning or by raising or by even chatting, putting your comments or opinion in the chat box as you are going this as you continue doing this conference, so that your supervisors can get your opinion or ideas and have it related to us also. Again, we need those informations. It is very vital in our decision making. Hopefully, those information that our supervisors will get from your end, they can share to us also, as we will be having our another regular Monday meeting next week, as they will report to us what transpired in your virtual conference today. On the other hand, there is what we call as general rule. When it's a general rule, meaning in every endeavor or in every situation, we always look at the situation based on what we emphasized as a general rule. That is why it is part of our task now to look into it. Like, for example, to be specific, before we start our classes, it is our direction as a way of implementing our basic education learning continuity plan that we will have a distribution scheme of 1:1, meaning one module or less per learner. That's the general direction. But we always look into the possibility that there is some modification, some enhancement, or some, shall we say, changes in that general direction or rule. And perhaps reasons are valid. So that's why when we roam around, those are the very first thing that we look into. And yes, it's true. There are schools that are using 1:2, there are 1:4, even 1:8. And for me, we will not immediately say that they are doing the wrong thing. They are not following the instruction, because for me, again, we set the general rule that it is 1:1, but then again, we have to look into the situations. What are the factors that triggers these schools to deviate from the general rule? And of course, first is they lack the resources, they lack the bond papers. They need to maximize the resources so that they can print the materials or modules for not only for 1 quarter, but even the next quarters. So that is why it is part of having this conference, that we want to know the real picture, because it is not good that we will keep on telling others and keep on insisting that individual all our schools are having 1:1, but we want to know, out of 1,115 schools, how many are 1:1 and how many are using the other ratio. Another aspect is, like, for instance, when I visited some schools, when I interviewed some of our teachers, they even told me that they made a school level additional activity sheets, because they believe the activity sheets in those last prepared by the division through the principals and some master teachers are not enough. But then again, when media people interviewed us using the opinion or feedback from the parents, then they told us that the activities are too many. So now, we want to validate, because we want to see whether one side is correct or the other side. So, which is which? The opinion of some of the schools that or teachers that the materials are or the activities are too few, or the opinion of the parents or learners that the activities are too many. So, we will not just immediately make a conclusion that we will add or we will subtract, but then again, we will look into the different lenses, the 6 lenses, so that we will be well informed and make a rightful decision. Another is the level of difficulty, because again, there are those parents or learners who say that it's too difficult. The learners cannot, their child cannot finish the task. But then now, is it really difficult? We cannot immediately embark on that statement, but again, look into it. through the teachers. After receiving those outputs, then it is not just enough that they will check, but they have to assess based on responses. Like say 30 learners in a class. If there are 28 who finished the activity and only 2 did not, then perhaps it's not difficult. But if the situation is on the other way around, 28 didn't finish, only 2 finished the activity, then that's the time that we will see that it's so difficult. So the decision of the supervisors on whether to enhance, to make some modification on the activity sheets or the modules will depend on the real situations that are gathered from the learners, from the parents, from the teachers, the principals, and the district supervisors. So your opinion and the opinion of the learners and the parents are very important for us in the division office. Another is even on the way you distribute the materials. Long before, we already disseminated that it should be distributed on a Friday. There is a logic why it should be on a Friday. It's because we want to ensure that the learners, the parents, and the teachers are safe, because we emphasize that we want that we can follow the health and safety protocol. So distribute on a Friday, so that on Saturday and Sunday the materials will be disinfected, and it will be Monday that the learners will look into it. The same is true with the teachers. What you collect on Friday shall not be checked, shall not be assessed by the teachers on Saturday and Sunday, but to start on Monday. Because again, it's on the health and safety both of the learners and parents and the teachers that we are looking into it. But then again, that's the general rule. Now we want to know, of the 1,115 schools, how many are having that distribution on Friday, and how many having distributions Thursday and Friday. Because again, it's very important that we will have the clear picture. Because if others will ask, if we keep on saying it's only Friday, but they might tell us, no, there are those having Thursday and Friday. So then again, I am not saying that those distributing Thursday are not following instruction, but we have to look into why. So one reason, for instance, when I visited one of the school, the reason is very valid. It's because their school is too big, too big to distribute on a single day or even on a single session. So that's why they decided to have it Thursday and Friday, some grade level in the morning, another group of grade levels in the afternoon. And then again, that is valid. Although it deviates from the general rule, but still valid because their decision is anchored on the situation. They did not alter or deviate from the general rule just for the sake of deviating, but they do it because they believe that that's the right thing. So that's why, again, those are now part of what we call school-based management. That you are not just, you will not just deviate because you want to deviate, but because you are there, you know the real score, you know the situation. What is important for us at the division office is for us to know also, so that we will be aware, and kumbaga sabi nila, hindi kami naman magmukhang tanga na ang iba ang sinasabi namin pero hindi naman pala ang real score na nangyayari sa field. So that is very important that we will know. Kumbaga sabi nila, keep the commander always informed. Dapat malaman ng division office kung ano bang mga modification at ano ang dahilan bakit may modification. Another perhaps is on the issue on the distribution, not only on either Thursday or Friday, but even on where. Saan ba naganap? Sa school, sa Purok, sa health center, sa barangay hall, or in other areas. Kumbaga, yes, yon ang tinitingnan natin bago ang October 5. But now, mas mabuti na nagsimula na tayo, talagang malalaman na namin Mas mabuti malaman namin that out of 1,115 schools, ilan ba talaga na nasa school? At ilan ba ang nasa barangay hall? At ano ba ang reason kung wala sa school? Dahil ginagamit na isolation area or quarantine areas. O perhaps bakit hindi lang sa school? Dahil halimbawa sa high schools, their constituents or their learners are coming from different barangays, so therefore there is a need to distribute even or bring those materials in the barangay hall so that medyo malapit na lang sa mga learner or sa parents na kumukuha. And even on the areas also on the distribution, our general rule is only the parents will get. But perhaps there are maybe again modifications. If the parents cannot get it, then why not allow the neighbors? In fact, there is a school, one of the schools that I visited. For me, it's a good practice that they made clustering of those residents or puroks. Let's say, for example, there are 10 residents in that area, then they have that arrangement that every time that they will distribute and retrieve the material, only one will get. Then it's a good practice. Instead of having 10 people to come and get and return, why not arrange that in that community only one will get? So again, those are things that for me it's very vital and it's very useful if we will get those informations directly from the horse's mouth, and that horse's mouth are the mouths of our supervisors and as colleagues. Another is in 1 week's time or 2 weeks from now, you will be receiving hundreds or thousands of reams of bond papers. Luckily, we are done issuing the notice of award to the bidder, and I asked yesterday, and he is just waiting for the signed contract coming from the bidder, because will follow is the notice to proceed. And so in our arrangement as planned by our LR, Dr. Ironico, for the elementary, it will be delivered to the district offices, while the secondary will be delivered directly to the schools. And the district offices will expect, I looked at this yesterday, the master list, I think around 3,000 to 4,000 reams per districts, because it is computed equally. We have that based on enrollment, the basis of computing how many reams that will be distributed to each district. That's those bond papers that will be delivered in 1 or 2 weeks time are coming from the national fund, because I think you are aware that we receive a total of 64 million, and luckily the bidder, when we have that 64 million in the bidding, but the bidder offered 54 million, so meaning it's a saving to the government of 10 million, because they offered only 54 million. So the delivery that will be coming to your school, to your districts and schools, are the actual cost is only 54 million. So the 10 million savings, it will not be put into our pocket, but it will then again be used for our implementation of our learning continuity plan. So I already informed Ironico 2 days ago that the 10 million savings will be used to print. This time it's no longer bond paper, but we will print modules for the elementary using the 10 million savings. And to avoid duplication, Joy will be telling you perhaps next week what modules that will be printed by using the 10 million, so that the other modules will be printed by you using your the bond papers that we will be giving you. But definitely the modules that we will be printing will be on the later part. Let's say, for example, if there are 8 modules in that particular subject, so perhaps module 1 to 7 will be printed by you, then the last module will be printed through that 10 million. Maybe in your minds you will say it's too big. Well, if we are just having a purely test paper, then that amount is too big. But since we are having modules, that amount is too little. In fact, in our competition, it's quarter, no? So the first quarter, since you are using your MOE and other source of funding, our competition, one quarter alone will cost 200 million in the entire province or division of all. And so that's it. It's too big, no? If it will continue, perhaps we don't have enough resources to continue having the 200 million per quarter. So that is why our regional office, in fact, recommends that by second quarter we can study the possibility, and that's why we already told you last time that you have to study that possibility that you will have that 1:2, 1:4, or other modification. And in fact, there are some schools that are quick enough to make modifications even in the first quarter. Oh. And then you might ask also for the secondary schools, then why only elementary schools that are given the 10 million for the savings? It's because this week we received, I think it's the last support coming from the national DepEd, where we were given another 10 million. So that's why I also instructed Ma'am Eronico that 10 million will be used also in the printing of modules for the high school. The same with the elementary, it will be in the later part of the second quarter that the 10 million will be used for the printing, considering that we still have to undergo with the procurement process. And the beginning part of the second quarter, you will be printing it using the bond papers that we will be distributing. As I told you a while ago, it will be distributed perhaps in 1 or 2 weeks time. It will be delivered to your schools or districts. So that's it. That's why let's let's tell our teachers that perhaps no need to keep on asking from other, like asking individually bond papers to their neighbors or to your LG officials, because the bond papers will be delivered in due time to your schools and districts. And it is emphasized again by our higher office that there are 4 major sources of funding identified in the implementation of our learning continuity plan. First is your school MOE. Second is your ECF. Third is the through social mobilization, and that is the Brigada Eskwela. And fourth, that is the support coming from the national that we are soon to distribute. So for the first quarter, it's only 3 out of 4, because you are using only your school MOE, the ECF, and the Brigada Eskwela donations. But then again, there are areas or there are schools our local leaders are telling us why is it the teachers are individually soliciting. So that's why we encourage teachers to do it individually, because when it comes to Brigada Eskwela or social mobilization, it should be the school who will be asking to the stakeholders as a school, not as an individual teacher, because there is a need to properly record it, and there is a need for our stakeholders to understand that this is the need of the school, not the individual need of the teacher. So my dear supervisors and school heads, I hope that in your meeting you will not only listen to the instructions from the supervisors, but at the same time, again, as I said a while ago, please give the right information, share your experiences, or share your best practices or challenges to the supervisor, so that they can relate to us also, and we can use it appropriately in the coming days as we continue implementing our learning continuity plan. Honestly, this new school year is a sort of period of adjustment for all of us, not only for for you, supervisors and principals, but even the teachers as well as the learners and the parents. There is really that need to adjust because this is the first time that we have the full learning episode at home. No, even online or printed, but they are at home. But again, kumbaga sa Filipino, walang isa sa atin na ginusto ito, but this is it. We need to do it because this is the call of the times. Ito ang gusto ng presidente. Ito ang dapat gawin natin upang ligtas tayong lahat. So that's why we need to follow it. And so I am requesting you to please guide your teachers to ensure that they can properly guide also the learners and they can properly coordinate with the parents. Daming mga issue na binabatikos tayo dahil halimbawa may mga mali daw. So sana we can coordinate with the parents na pag may mali, if there are errors na nakikita nila doon sa mga materials, hindi ito ma-resolve kung if they will post it in the social media, but instead give it directly to you so that you can inform immediately also the division office, so that the division office can make corrections, necessary corrections. At also yung mga issue na may mga mag-suicide dahil napaka-difficult at napaka-stricta ng teachers in implementing, then siguro may mga totoo, meron namang hindi. Ang point lang dyan is again, the teachers patuloy lang, they just continue doing what is good for the learners. Again, what is important again is may room tayo for understanding. There is a room for the teachers to understand and to be with the learners and the parents. Kumbaga may empathy na kung ano mang impressions or opinion of the parents and the learners this time. We have to accept that kumbaga these are just the starting point. Kahit ano pang gagawin natin, kahit sa anong situation, basta't bago, maninibago. So, ang dapat lang gawin natin, dahil naninibago tayo, pati na yung mga parents at learners, yun lang, ibigay lang natin ang assurance na ngayon lang yan dahil naninibago pa tayo. But in the coming days, our learners can adjust, their parents can adjust, everything can adjust. And believe it or not, para tayong bata, na at the start, nahirapan tayong lumakad, but kalaunan, naging sanay na tayo, kahit nadapa pa tayo, kahit nagkagasgas pa tayo, kahit nagkasugat pa tayo, pero masaya pa rin tayo dahil napatunayan natin na despite those challenges, we will be able to conquer it and we will be able to deliver the mandate expected of us. Once again, to the supervisors, district supervisors, and to you, our school heads, thank you for listening. Good luck, good health, God bless. And again, in Diped Bohol, we care for all and behold all. Mabuhay. Good morning.